doing it
Everyone
now.
ask you if you have gay questions, ask horror about them.
Wow, that's the first thing they're going to hear on the recording. So, gay questions for horror. Let's go.
No.
No.
That's the answer. No.
Oh, no. So,
Okay.
let's see. Are you still on a diet? If so, how is it going for you? John Paul Hart. I am still on the diet. It is going relatively well for me, although I must admit I do not like eating 1,000 calories a day. A question from me. I'm thinking about getting a smartphone, but to be honest, I don't know which phone to get. You have some opinions on the new phones like the BlackBerry, Android, iPhone, possibly Linux from the N900. Do you guys, do either of you have a smartphone?
No, I don't.
No,
I don't like phones in general. I don't like the phone I have. I'd rather
Yeah.
not have one.
What phones do you guys have?
I've got an NV Touch.
I got a piece of shit free phone that I got from AT&T when I signed up.
What's the touch like, Chris?
It's all right. It's basically just an NV with like a kind of like a. It tries to be like an iPhone on the front, like it gives you the ability to have icons, but you can't actually buy apps for it or anything.
Yeah.
So it's basically just an NV that has a touchscreen on it. It's pretty nice though.
That's nice. That's cool. In terms of recommending a cell phone for you or a smartphone, I'd say play around with each one. You can play around with the Droid, the iPhone, although you can't really play with the N900. But you'd only really get the N900 if you're into like I don't want to say the word hacking, but if you're into, I guess hardware hacking, that sort of thing, and mucking around with your own software and hardware, then the N900's for you. If you want a very streamlined phone, I'd go with the iPhone. If you want something that's not an iPhone, but is still very streamlined and offers a good smart environment to work in, I'd get a Droid. If you're a corporate type, that's when I'd start looking at BlackBerry and RIM. Otherwise, it's really not for an end user. It's really for the person who needs to keep a list of contacts, who needs to sync with Exchange, who needs the BlackBerry sort of experience. And I'd recommend Windows Phone 7 for that environment as well. But average user, if you really, really, really want to spend the money on it, or be locked down in a contract, Droid or iPhone. If you're really into hardware hacking, N900, and if you really don't need it, then don't buy it. Get a regular phone. It's not worth it.
Smartphones are pretty dumb.
Hey, I like my N900. I can play DOSBox on it. What was your inspiration for doing Until We Win? My inspiration for doing Until We Win was I had a camera that no longer works, but I wanted to use it because I spent money on it, so I made the show. That was it.
So when I ask what my favorite video game is, it is Star Ocean 2.
Yeah,
Second
what are your favorite video games, Chris?
Time Splitters 2 and Mass Effect 2 probably.
My favorite video game is Madden 11.
Clearly
Madden 11.
Ironically.
Okay, I've got an email here from Force Commander from the chat room. When there would be a zombie apocalypse, if the zombie apocalypse happens, what would you do and how do you defend yourself? If the zombie apocalypse happens, how do you defend yourself?
I really don't like zombie questions, but if I have to pick, I get a gun with 6 bullets. I fire 5 of them, and I keep the last one for inevitably when I get fucked over and they invade my house. I have a very pessimistic view, but I always hate the ones where it's like, oh, well, I go hang out at Target, and I'm in the gun section. Like, you don't have any of those survival instinct. Go fuck yourself.
No, I don't like the zombie questions either. Honestly, your best option for surviving the zombie apocalypse is to move away from an urban center and sort of become a survivalist in the woods. It's pretty much your best option, I think. Horror, you're screwed because you need to blow guys for a living, so...
What?
You heard me. Second question. Bomar good?
Bomar good, everything.
Bomar good punter. Are there things that really piss you off in multiplayer games?
When they're tacked on.
What do you mean?
Like, I don't like multiplayer games that have single-player elements that suck, or single-player games that have multiplayer elements that suck.
Oh,
so,
okay.
I like games to be designed for one thing and stick to it.
I just hate multiplayer games that have very bad overpowered abilities, or it has very bad, like Modern Warfare 2, like when I used to play
that fucking ranger gun.
That ranger gun, how you used to spawn in bullets, you'd spawn in predator missiles, you'd spawn into enemy camps in front of enemies, shit like that.
That shit was annoying with Modern Warfare 2. My biggest problem with multiplayer games is that despite all the different ranking systems out there, it always seems like that you always face off against somebody who's just so uber overpowering than you.
That's
some fashion.
Counter-Strike.
What?
If you're thinking of a game like that, definitely that happens all the time in Counter-Strike. It's impossible to get into Counter-Strike these days because everyone who's played Counter-Strike has been playing it for the past 30 years, and they're going to kick your ass. So it's hard to get into.
All right, I got to move on from your questions, guy, but because I'm too lazy to click on your email and find your name again. But Boy from the chat room asks, will you ever do the Captain Crunch Pixie Stick sandwich from the Breakfast Club? Yes, I will do it. I promise I will get to it. I just need to psych myself up and actually do it. Chris,
Num, 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 num.
Chris is the one who first harassed me to do it, and I've promised him I will do it, and I will one of these days, just not today.
Num, 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 num.
Sounds so gross.
It's so nasty.
How many pixie sticks is
it? I think she opens like 2 or 3. I'd have to watch the movie again, but like, it's like just eating pure sugar, like a sandwich of it.
Do you guys have any tips on how to roleplay or making a campaign? So I'm guessing this is for D&D. In terms of how to roleplay, the best advice I can give you is to just have fun. Like, you just gotta look at your character, you gotta look at the backstory he has, and just sort of go from there. In terms of Gray, I sort of knew where I wanted to go with him early on, but I didn't really get a chance to exploit that till after the elf insurrection, and then I got drunk, and then it was just like, oh, this was bad. I probably should have gone off and saved my teammates, but fuck them.
No, the elves are dead. Shit.
For me, it's different per campaign you're in. Like, the campaign I was in before this one was actually a lot more role-play heavy, and it was all text-based, so you got into character a lot more. This one, it's there's a character that we all sort of have, except Sean.
But at the same time, it's all us, too.
Yeah, it's just us. It's not really like... You could try to define our character traits, but they're very small.
Like, Gray's an asshole that wants to murder the elves. Juliet is Chris. Darstine is non-existent.
It's kind of there.
Victor is Nick with a horrible Russian accent. But it sort of just worked out for us because we're all a bunch of friends that we kind of know each other, so we could have sort of play off each other.
Yeah, I think it'd be too weird if we started adding all sorts of very defining personality traits to our characters. Like, having a few is fun, but...
Yeah, maybe if we need to start new characters, we can sort of add that. Just so that they can be different from our previous characters. In terms of making a campaign, you're kind of on your own there because the best way to do it is to just do it. The best way to learn is to just do it. I mean, I could give you any sort of advice like pre-plan everything, but that means trying to pre-plan what the players are going to do, and that may not include like them accidentally stumbling over the hidden grate in the floor that you didn't plan on them rolling a natural 25 to fucking see, and them spending the next 2 days trying to open that fucking thing while people are in a jail cell starving to death.
I planned that you might have found it. I didn't plan on you guys spending like 2 days trying to open it, though.
Another thing to keep in mind is Spoonie's been playing D&D since he was like fucking 10 years old, so don't expect your campaign to be like his when you first start.
Yeah. Like, I know my campaign blew ass because I fucked it up pretty bad. But, I'm gonna try it again. I'm just gonna try a different campaign. But I learned a lot of things, for my first campaign that, will help me along, I think.
Find players willing to sacrifice their time with your shitty first campaign, and then make a good second campaign.
The group you play with is going to change just about everything about the way you roleplay. Just in character, in way you play, in the campaign, everything is going to depend on your group. So find a group that you have fun with, and you'll just fine.
Next question I have, I guess this is really just for me. At what age did you start coding, and what was the first thing you coded? Unless you guys program?
I took a class of C++ in high school.
Congratulations.
Visual Basic, man.
I started...
Actually, no, it was Visual Basic. Never mind.
I know it was. Because they don't teach C++ in high school.
Oh, yes, they do.
They did. They did in mine. Yeah.
Yeah, mine taught C++. Mine had AP C++. I got into that. I started coding officially when I was about in 7th grade. I started where everyone starts, pretty much basic. It was actually DOS Basic. I was going back to that because I had it as a kid, and then I found C++ in high school, and I started using that, and I used a combination of C and C++ with Circle Mud, which is actually now TBA Mud. The original developers of Circle Mud sort of splintered off, and they're making TBA Mud since the creator of Circle Mud's no longer updating it, but you don't give a shit about that. But that's pretty much where I started with that. As far as the programming project I talked about on Transmission Awesome, I just didn't have enough time for it. I'm going to get the next episode out. I just don't have enough time to update it on a regular schedule like I wanted. So it's my side project that I'm working on as a program, and then I'm going to put a video together about that side project. But in terms of making it a regular video, that's not going to happen. And by the way, important information about your Hot Jobs account, it has been acquired by Monster. So there you go. What would you do for a Klondike bar? I'm not going to answer that.
I think we've been there.
How many burgers have you eaten today? 2.
Done.
I've had 2 turkey burgers. And I didn't have them on bread. I've had them on lettuce, so that cuts down the calories even more. Please, P.S. Don't kill me. I'm your biggest fan. No Name Death, I will not kill you. Oh, here's a good one. If Bomar and the Ultimate Warrior went into a fist fight, who would win?
Bomar win everything. Bomar is good fighter.
Bomar, you do not know the power of the Ultimate Warrior, because the Ultimate Warrior comes from space with the rocket fuel, and the Ultimate Warrior will have to stop all over you, Hulk Hogan. Ah!
Bomar's Massachusetts.
Ah!
Who is deadliest?
Who's deadliest? What is the high score you have achieved and most proud of? And if you remember what the score was. The high score you've achieved that you're most proud of? That's a good question. I don't know.
I had to say, I don't remember the exact number. I remember I used to kick ass at that Windows XP pinball game. And my dad used to play all the time, and then one day I totally obliterated his score, and I was very proud of it. I was like, okay, fuck you.
In fact, I do know. It is the one I'm most proud of. It is Konami's Simpson game. It's the 4-player Simpson game that I soloed as Marge Simpson. And I got the high score on that. I don't know if it's still there, but it's at Leo's Arcade on Seaside Heights. And you can go over there to Leo's Arcade at Seaside Heights and, I don't know, fucking... No, I'm sorry, Point Pleasant, not Seaside Heights. And, you can see, I think it's JPP. I have a high score there. That's pretty much the only one I remember, though.
What's your middle name?
My middle name's Joseph.
So why is it JP?
Because I'm stupid.
So you did JP and you wanted to hit enter and you're like, I'll just put another P down.
Yeah, pretty much. Uh-oh. Chris, question for you.
What's that?
When's the next TA Let's Play?
I'd have to talk with Paul on that and find out when he wants to do the Lost one. But I am actually, when I get the computer from Rob, I'm going to try doing my own Let's Play. People wanted me to do Fire Emblem 6.
Alien Swarm?
No, I'm going to try.
Let's Revenge.
I'm going to try a Let's Play on Fire Emblem 6.
Who's the bigger tard, Bomar, Ultimate Warrior, or Ralph Wiggum?
Bomar's super smart.
Bomar smart. I think the next TA gets released this Saturday, doesn't it?
TA is this Saturday, yep.
This Saturday, you can look forward to the next Transmission Awesome. When's the next video from you coming out, Horror? Oh, that's right, you don't do those. What's your prediction for the New York Giants this season, Chris?
Oh, we should really say that for Turducken is Delicious, didn't we?
Yeah, we really should. You guys should watch Turducken is Delicious every Wednesday this football season with myself and Chris Larios, and special guests, including people like Nicholas Freeman, Y Ruler of Time, and The Angry Joe Show. Also, maybe appearing soon, Spoonie. You never know. Also, we may be appearing on WrestleWrestle.com, so keep an eye out for that. No, I'll stop pimping myself now. When's the next LordKat Eats? Whenever I'm able to get something. It's not something that I can get regularly, unfortunately. Spoonie watches football. Spoonie watches Arizona when he's bored, as far as I know.
Yeah. he seemed to know enough when we had him on for Madden.
Yeah, he knows enough about football. I just don't think he's a huge fan about football.
Yeah.
Well, he's not really a fan of wrestling anymore, but he still watches that religiously.
No, he's a fan of wrestling. He's not a fan of mainstream wrestling.
Why do I love the Mets? Delirious? I don't know. Why do you love the Mets? That team is... Every year, they come in all hyped up and saying, this is the best team we've ever put together. And then they just fall the fuck apart. The Mets are seriously disgusting. That organization is broken. I think they need a new ownership, to be honest. What was the most frustrating game you've ever played? Frustrating? Snake, rattle, and roll. That last jump is a bitch and a half. Can I be your personal assistant? No, I'm sorry. You cannot be my personal assistant. That job actually belongs to Chris.
Sure thing, Mr. P.
I'm Mr. P now. I like that. Can you wear a cute red mini skirt and dye your hair white so I can think you're Judy Jetson while I masturbate to you?
Yes, sir, Mr. P.
Oh, excellent. Well, I think that's a great way to end this Q&A session, 16 minutes long, on me masturbating to Chris dressed as Judy Jetson. What do you think?
Don't you end everything that way? Is it getting old?
Oh, it's getting old? I'm sorry. I'll try harder next time, I promise, guys. No, you don't want it to end. But it's gone on for 15 minutes now. What are we going to talk about?
There's more questions to be asked.
If there's more questions to be asked, you should be asking them.
They always ask stupid questions, though.
Yeah, I know. Is this recorded? Yes, it's being recorded.
They ask smart questions. I believe in you, chat.
Derp?
Someone ask a good question. Derp doesn't count.
What are you going to do next? Probably going to go to sleep. But, yeah, I go to a Fauché Stadium once in a while. Okay. If you were a pie, what kind of robot would you eat? Yeah, okay, I'm in this Q&A session now.